It is impossible to buy a property nowadays. The mortgage would not be covered by the renters. Back then, the prices were somewhat normal. That was 55 years ago. These are just few of the many negative comments on my Facebook post when I posted about buying real estate. People telling me that finding good deals is impossible these days. Well, I just closed on a deal and I thought I'd run the numbers with you. And by no means do I mean to rub this in your face. It's just to show you that finding real estate deals is possible in any market. Stick around till the end and I'll show you the actual property from the inside and the outside. But for now, let's go through the entire process and run the numbers. As always, I start my search with 3 of my favorite websites. It's either Zillow.com, Roofstock, or Realtor.com. This particular property I found at Zillow.com and it is located 30 minutes outside Dallas, Texas. So it's not a very densely populated area and it's somewhat of a new area. The property was listed for $236,000. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath and just under 1,300 square feet. So right off the bat, I had my realtor contact this person to see if the property was still available. Because you know the market is so hot these days. Luckily, the property was available and I knew I did not have much time. So I ran the numbers the same day. I was pre-approved for the loan at 4.875% and this was back in April 22. And the rate was locked for 30 days. And that is another reason I had to move quickly with this property. Because had I waited even slightly longer, the rates went into the 5% neighborhood. The first thing I wanted to check was how much are homes renting out for in the same area with 3-bed and 2-bath and had roughly the same square footage. I did this by going to Zillow.com and Realtor.com and using the filter feature. After doing my research, this is where I involved my realtor. I gave her a call and had her run the same numbers in MLS. The number her and I came up was between 2,100 and 1,900. So for my calculations, I used 2,000 as an average. When calculating cash flow on a property, which is income minus expenses, my income would be $2,000. So I have the first part of the equation solved. This is usually the easiest part to figure out because you have a lot of resources and you also have help from your real estate agent. Now let's look at the expenses. As you can see on the closing disclosure, the sales price was $236,499. 20% down for an investment loan would be $47,300. The mortgage payment is $1,487 for a 30-year loan. This includes mortgage, taxes, home insurance, and all other fees. Mortgage is obviously the biggest expense. The other expenses that need to be considered are capital expenditures or CapEx for short. CapEx are the big ticket items like your roof, your HVAC system, your plumbing, and so on. All the big ticket items and their cost of repair. Let me try and explain. Here's a sample CapEx for a single family home that I personally use as a guide for my calculations. It is based on a single family home that is approximately 1,600 square feet in size. These values will obviously be different for a house that is smaller or larger in size. Take the roof, for example. The cost of replacing the roof is $10,000 approximately. And the roof has an estimated lifespan of 25 years. So the cost per year is simply $10,000 and you divide that by 25, which is $400. After you calculate these costs per year, calculate how much it would cost per month. In this case, the cost per month is $169 for all the items on this list. Keep in mind that these are approximate numbers only. And as I mentioned earlier, I used this sample for a house that is approximately 1,600 square feet. So in this case, the house is about 1,300 square feet. So instead of using 169, I bring this number down to 140. And 140 is the CapEx per month. Now you add mortgage plus CapEx, and that is your total expense for the month. So 1,487 plus 140 equals 1,627. Finally, my cash flow is income minus expenses. So $2,000 minus 1,627 equals $373 per month or $4,476 per year. Now the million-dollar question is, how did I determine if I was getting a good deal or not? For that, I do a cash-on-cash return calculation. It's a very basic calculation to determine the return you're getting on your money. The total down payment I used for this property was $47,300 and the yearly cash flow is $4,076. Divide the two and multiply by 100 and you get 9.4%. I aim for this number to be anywhere between 8 and 10%. 8 is the bare minimum though. This 9.4% is the return I'm getting on the money that I put down, and it is not taking into consideration the equity I'm building while the renter is paying the mortgage off. And that's where the real money is. I also pay attention to the school districts, especially when it comes to renting out single family homes like this one. A lot of single family homes are rented out to smaller families who have 1 or 2 kids. Nothing too fancy, it just has to be at least a decent school district. Also, full disclaimer, the property actually rented out for $1,950 the same day it was listed. I mean, that's how crazy the market is these days. All the documents were signed and the security deposit was received from the tenant in less than 24 hours. I think had I waited a little longer to rent the property out, I would have probably rented it out for a bit more. But I still decided to go through with the deal because I liked the tenants and both the husband and the wife had credit scores over 780. So I just could not say no. If you made it this far, here's the actual property. One last thing that I should probably mention is that this property failed the 1% test. The 1% test or the 1% rule is just a pre-screening tool where you multiply the purchase price of the property by 1%. So if I multiply the purchase price of this property, which was $236,000 by 1%, I get $2,360. And according to the 1% rule, the property should rent for at least $2,360. This property rented out for $1,950 and it obviously failed the 1% rule. And I'm okay with it. What I'm trying to say is use the 1% rule by all means. I use it too, but I only use it as a pre-screening tool and not as a hard and fast rule. There are so many other things to consider such as population growth, employment opportunities, crime rate, school district, and amenities. All in all, I'm very happy with this purchase.